What's up everybody, it's Max Digital here, and in this video I'm going to talk about the Stylo 5 2 years later. Let's go ahead and take a look at the specs and how it holds up today. So here's a picture of the front of the Stylo 5. The Stylo series has always been a fan favorite, especially for me. It's been a staple of prepaid for Boost, Metro, and Cricket for the past 5-6 years, since we're on the Stylo 6 right now, and it never disappoints. It's always been usually the best prepaid phone at the time. So this phone was released in June of 2019. The phone is an LTE device. It doesn't have 5G. This was released 2 years ago. The phone measured around 6.3 inches tall, 3 inches wide, and 33 inches thin. For the weight, it weighs 6.3 ounces. It uses a nano SIM card slot. And then obviously the mainstay of the LG Stylo series and this Stylo 5 is that it has a stylus. That's what makes this phone special. It's like the budget version of the Galaxy Note series. Obviously, it doesn't have all of the capabilities of the S Pen, but it does have its few apps that let you do memos and stuff like that from the lock screen and stuff like that. So it's always been a little welcome addition for a stylus phone to work on a cheaper price and on prepaid. So the display on the Stylo 5 has a 6.2 inch LCD IPS display. It gets around 80% screen to body ratio, so the bezels aren't too bad. The resolution on the screen, it's a 1080 display, so full HD, and it has a PPI density of 390. So obviously this phone is not going to have a super duper quality screen up against the flagships, but right now this phone you can pick this phone up for less than $100. So that's an awesome alternative than to getting any other stylus enabled phone, which is going to cost a lot more, especially on the Note series or the new S21 Ultra with the S Pen added onto it. But when this phone was released, it was also popular because it's always been a port-in special. So that means you bring a number to prepaid and they'll always give you this phone for, usually it would be free at some point depending on the promotion at the time. So it was always a great device, especially for getting it free on prepaid. So the phone was launched with Android Pie, Android 9, and it hasn't been updated since. But overall, I mean, I haven't seen that many meaningful changes on Android versions, and especially with LG Skin on top, it has its own quirky apps. I really love the knock-on feature and the quick memo, and then when you smile or show your palm, that'll activate the camera. So little things like that. So I've always been a fan of LG Skin. This phone had a Qualcomm Snapdragon 450 processor, a lower end processor. Even when it was released, this processor wasn't that powerful, but that's okay because the type of person that will be doing this is not doing any type of heavy gaming or heavy use of graphic intensive apps. It's always going to do your Netflix, your TikTok, your Twitter, your WhatsApp, your maps, your email, your light gaming, Dead Trigger, Mad Guns or Mad Bullets, just casual gaming. So this phone has always been great for that. For the internal storage, this phone came at 32 gigs. So by today's standard, you can get very, very cheap phones with 64 gigs of storage nowadays. So when this phone launched with 32 gigs, it was, at its dying point of 32 gigs, a lot more phones were coming out that were budget, that are keeping 64 as the standard. So by today's standard, 32 gigabytes on this phone is very disappointing, but it does have 3 gigs of RAM, which the Stylo 6 has, whereas it's a more recent phone, the successor to this phone, and it also has 3 gigs of RAM. That's actually not too bad in the prepaid phone market. That's a good amount of RAM for most people to handle all the apps open. So that's actually pretty good right there, 3 gigs of RAM. Moving on to the camera, it has a single 13 megapixel shooter in the back. There's no ultra wide, there's no macro, there's no depth, there's none of that stuff. This is just a basic point and shoot camera with average results If you're in the outside or you have good lighting, you'll get a pretty decent picture and be happy with it, and send it to your friends or upload it to social media. You do record at 1080p, which is okay even by today's standards, because I don't think a lot of people take advantage of 4K, to be honest. The selfie camera on this phone is 5 megapixels, and it also shoots at 1080p. So actually, it's not too bad of a selfie camera, considering it has the same video resolution as the back. This phone also has a headphone jack, which is very nice if you still like to physically plug in your headphones, your mic, or connect it to your car via an aux cord to listen to your music. So this is in addition to Bluetooth, where you could hook up your wireless headphones and stuff like that. So nice little addition. So for speaking of Bluetooth, this one comes with Bluetooth 4.2, which is not the newest version. Obviously now we're at 5.1 and stuff like that. But this will definitely hook up your wearables, such as your smartwatch, smart band, or your wireless headphones. It will work just fine. There's no NFC on this device, and that was usually reserved for payments. So if you're not into payments, this isn't going to be a big problem for you. It does have USB Type-C, a standard. It's not new, but it's also not a micro USB charger or anything like that. So that's actually kind of standard still today. For the unlocking, the Stylo 5 uses a rear fingerprint sensor, which is totally fine, even by today's standards. Even some newer, more expensive 5G phones still use a fingerprint sensor in the back, as opposed to on the screen in the front, on the side, or some type of Face ID. Battery on this device, the Stylo 5 has 3,500 milliamps, which is okay. Since this isn't a phone with a powerhouse processor, this battery should last you most of the day. Today's standards and batteries are way up there now. For me personally, I think any phone you get should have around 4,000 at the very least, but 5,000 should be the norm, or even higher than that. So the Poco phone has a 6,000 milliamp battery. So 3,500, it seems kind of low. There's no such thing as fast charging on this, so you might need to charge during the day. But all in all, the Stylo 5 is not even a bad option today. I mean, it's not too old either. It has all the stylus features. It has the expandable storage, so you can stick a micro SD card in there. So some phones nowadays don't even have that, so that's a welcome addition. You still plug in your headphones. It is still a great phone. It's not going to blow you away with the camera or anything like that, but it's a very practical phone that you could still get today, and it's less than $100 if you get it like on Swapper or something like that. So thanks for watching, guys. If you like this video, tell me in the comments. If you hate this video and you think it's hot garbage, also tell me in the comments. Thanks for watching. Peace out.